A guy goes into a bar. And why does a guy go into a bar? To drink, maybe. But not exactly. He can do that at home. So you have to wonder, who is the guy? What does he want? Maybe he's an outsider. And for him, society, people, it feels like they're on the other side of a glass. And he's on the outside. But for him, it's always been that way. So he doesn't really expect it to change. And maybe, he's happy in his own way. Maybe he has a friend, somebody who's on his side. So then, why does he go into a bar? Well, if you think about it, every day, all over the world, people get up and go places, and they do all kinds of things. Till they can't anymore, and then the next day, it starts over again. People do things. We've all done things. That's just life. So if you want a reason why one day one guy does one thing, maybe you have to step back and look at the whole thing of it. Anyway, so a guy goes into a bar, and he says his dog can talk. He's got a dog, so that part of the story checks out. But the people have to laugh. They've heard it before. The guy says, no, really. I can ask him 3 questions, and he can answer them. So he says, what do you call the top part of a house? And the dog says, well, what do you mean? The roof? Well, there's all different kinds, There's shingles and roll roofing, built-up roofs on commercial buildings. I like those old metal roofs. They still make them, but they're not the same. Your building codes vary. It depends on the region, the weather, and who knows what's going to happen with all that. Anyway, reminds me I probably need to clean my gutters, says the dog. And the place gets quiet. The bartender was making change, but loses count, has to start over. The guy says, that's great. Well, how does sandpaper feel? The dog says, well, it's rough, but there's all different grades, different grits. I usually just keep a sampler pack unless I have something in particular I'm going to be doing, like refinishing furniture or whatever. I get that emery stuff for metal. And he goes on for a while. The dog knew a little about roofs and he could answer the question, but it seems like he really knows a lot about sandpaper and the history of it and how it was made. And then he gets off on lithography and how that works with viscosity. Then he goes into this whole thing about the ancient Egyptians and how he thinks they used wet sand to slide all the big stones to build the pyramids. He says there are old pictures of them pouring water on the ground. After a while, the guy says, that's cool. So, who is the greatest home run hitter of all time? And the dog says, nah, I don't want to take sides in that whole thing. It's not just the number of hits. You have to figure the height of the mound, the distance to the plate, number of times at bat. A lot of things have changed, and it really depends on how you look at it. The guy says, well, that's okay, just your opinion then. The dog says, no, I'm not really that much of a sports guy. I tell you, there was an article about all that in Forbes a while back. I might still have that lying around. The guy says, come on. The dog says, nah, you can probably Google it. I don't know if you have to subscribe to Forbes Online, but you have to turn off your ad blocker. And by now, the people have kind of had enough of this. It doesn't seem like he can answer the question. They laugh him out of the bar. And so they're outside for a while. The guy looks at the dog and says, why can't you just say it? The dog says, don't start with me, man. I just can't do this anymore. What is this? I don't know what we're doing. I can't live like this. I'm sorry.